What was your early style like?
My early style, well, I was a really fat kid, so
we have something in common. Go ahead.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I used to I love this idea of oversized clothes because you kind of hide in them, you know? So everything I made, I used to make my own clothes, and everything I made was giant. And it was like a big, giant, like sort of, you know, bomber jackets and like big sort of paper bag waist pants and stuff. And then when I was about 12 or 14, I lost a bunch of weight. And then I kept losing weight. And I think I had a little bit of a disorder because I was looking at pictures of myself when I was in my 20s and I was so thin, like scary thin. Mm-hmm. And all I thought was that I was the fattest person in the world. Yeah. I mean, I used to make jokes about it. I used to say, well, you know, I work at Calvin Klein, right? And unless you're really thin, nobody even listens to you. Like you start talking and they're like, you know, was he saying something? You know, so you had to be really skinny in those rooms. I worked at Perry Ellis, I worked at Calvin Klein. And, you know, like, I do think I had a bit of a disorder because I saw myself as the fattest person in the world. Wow. How did we get on this topic?
It's interesting, though.
Let's talk about shoes.
We want to talk about fragrances and shoes.
Exactly.
And
Let's talk about handbags.
But do you think the industry brought that out in you, or think that was you?
Yes, I do. I think the industry brought that out in me. That industry is a great industry, and it is very, very conscious of what people look like, you know? And I too, I proliferated that more than anybody else. I mean, I love thin models, you know? And then all of a sudden, about, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, it struck me that, you know, there was something wrong, right? Like, the more I dieted, the more weight I lost, right? Somehow, the fatter I seemed to get to myself, and I thought, like, wait a second, step back. And then I gave up smoking, and then there was nothing I could do about it. You know, the minute you give up smoking, you just kind of put on some weight, right? And so I became this kind of normal weight, and that was like about 10 years ago. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, like, maybe people should be allowed to be normal weight. Like, maybe you should look at this differently, you know?
And how did that change sort of how you approached even the use of models and things like that?
It did. It really affected the way I designed. It affected what I designed. It affected my kind of, you know, where the clothes were sold. I mean, like, it affected everything in such a big way.